President Trump demands a golf cart on an elite course, but a stubborn staff member's refusal sparks a heated showdown no one saw coming. What started as a casual round of golf at a luxurious California course turned into a fiery clash of wills as Trump, the most powerful man in the world, faced off against a rule-abiding employee who wouldn't budge. With billionaire tech mogul and Secret Service agents watching, the argument escalated into a debate about power, privilege, and respect that had everyone on edge. President Trump had just finished a round of golf at an exclusive members-only course in California, a place called the Silver Crest Golf Club, owned by billionaire tech mogul Stephen Sears. Trump wasn't there just for leisure. He'd been invited for a high-profile summit, a chance to rub shoulders with some of the world's most influential tech CEOs, all while discussing potential partnerships for his administration's new tech initiatives. Trump stood near the 18th hole, golf club in hand, surrounded by his Secret Service detail and a small group of elite guests, including tech billionaire Nadia Warwick, CEO of a major AI company, and Victor Drayton, a software tycoon known for his electric vehicle innovations. The group had been chatting casually, their voices carrying over the quiet course, when Trump turned to a nearby staff member. "I need a golf cart to take me to the exit." "Let's make this quick," Trump said, his tone commanding but not harsh. The staff member, a man named Paul Robles, stepped forward, pointing to a sign nearby that read, "No golf carts allowed." "I'm sorry, sir, but we can't allow golf carts on this part of the course. It's a strict rule to protect the greens," Paul said firmly. Trump raised an eyebrow, looking from Paul to the sign and back again. "You're telling me, the President of the United States, that I can't get a cart? That's ridiculous. I'm not walking all the way back. I've got places to be," Trump replied, his voice rising slightly. Paul didn't flinch, standing his ground. "Rules apply to everyone, sir. Even you. We can't make exceptions." "It's about fairness and preserving the course," Paul said, his tone calm but unyielding. The Secret Service agents exchanged glances, staying close to Trump, but not intervening yet. Nadia Warwick, the AI CEO, stepped closer, curious about how this would play out. Trump chuckled, shaking his head, his signature hand gesture coming into play as he pointed at Paul. "Fairness? Let me tell you something, Paul. I'm the president. I've got the best people, the best security, and I don't have time for silly rules. I'm not just anybody. I'm running a country here," Trump said, his voice carrying that familiar mix of confidence and exasperation. Paul crossed his arms, his expression steady. "I understand who you are, sir, but this isn't about your title. It's about the club's policies. We've had these rules for years, and they're there for a reason," Paul replied, not backing down. Victor Drayton, the software tycoon, decided to chime in, walking over with a smirk. "Come on, Paul. The man's the president. Just get him a card. What's the big deal? We're not talking about ruining the whole course here," Victor said, trying to lighten the mood. Paul turned to Victor, his tone still firm. "With all due respect, Mr. Drayton, if we bend the rules for one person, then everyone will expect the same. That's how it starts. And before you know it, the course is a mess," Paul explained. Trump waved a hand dismissively, cutting in before Victor could respond. "Look, I've played on the best courses, okay? The best? Nobody knows golf courses better than me, and I've never heard of a rule this dumb. You're telling me I can't get a cart because of some grass? I've got Secret Service. I've got meetings. I'm not walking a mile in this heat," Trump said, his voice now laced with irritation. Nadia Warwick spoke up, her tone more neutral, trying to find a middle ground. "Maybe there's a compromise here, Paul. Can't you make a one-time exception? I mean, we're talking about the president." It's not like this happens every day, Nadia suggested. Paul shook his head, standing firm. I'm sorry, Miss Warwick, but that's not how it works. If I let him have a cart, then tomorrow someone else will demand the same thing. And then what? We have to stick to the rules. That's my job, Paul said, his voice unwavering. Trump turned to Nadia, pointing at Paul as he spoke. You see this? This is what's wrong with people today. No respect for leadership. I'm trying to make America great, and I can't even get a cart to leave a golf course. It's a disgrace. A total disgrace, Trump said, his tone now more animated. The Secret Service agent closest to Trump, a man named Agent Carter, finally spoke up, his voice low but clear. Sir, we can escort you back on foot if needed. It's not a security issue, but I understand your frustration, Agent Carter said, trying to de-escalate. Trump shook his head, turning back to Paul. No, I'm not walking. I shouldn't have to. I'm the president. I've got the best team. We're not doing this. You're going to get me a cart, or we're going to have a problem, Trump said, his voice firm, pointing directly at Paul. Paul took a step forward, his tone still respectful, but resolute. I'm not trying to disrespect you, sir, but I have a job to do, and my job is to enforce the rules. If you have a problem with that, you can take it up with the owner, Paul replied, gesturing toward the clubhouse. Victor Drayton laughed, shaking his head as he looked at Trump. He's got a point, you know. Maybe we should just call Stephen Sears over here. He's the one who invited you. Let him deal with this, Victor said, pulling out his phone. Trump turned to Victor, his expression a mix of annoyance and determination. I don't need to call anyone. I'm the president. I shouldn't have to beg for a cart. This is nonsense. Absolute nonsense. I've played at better courses. They don't have these stupid rules, Trump said, his voice rising again. Nadia Warwick tried again, her tone diplomatic. Let's all take a step back. I'm sure Stephen will sort this out. There's no need for this to escalate any further, Nadia said, her tone soothing. Paul shook his head, his voice firm. I'm not escalating anything. I'm just doing my job. If Mr. Sellers wants to make an exception, that's his call. But I'm not breaking the rules on my own, Paul said, standing his ground. Trump looked at Paul, his expression a mix of irritation and determination. You're going to regret this, Paul. I'm the president. I don't forget things like this. I've got the best memory. Everybody says so. You're making a big mistake, Trump said, his tone sharp. Paul didn't flinch, his response steady. I'm not trying to disrespect you, sir. I'm just following the rules. That's all I'm doing, Paul said, his voice calm but resolute. The conversation paused for a moment as Stephen Sears, the owner of the Silvercrest Golf Club, approached the group, his expression a mix of concern and urgency. What's going on here? I got a text saying, there's a problem, Stephen said, looking between Trump and Paul. Victor Drayton spoke up, gesturing toward Paul. Your employee here is refusing to get the president a golf cart. Says it's against the rules. We've been going back and forth for a while now, Victor explained. Stephen turned to Paul, his tone firm but not harsh. Paul, what's the issue? Why can't we get the president a cart? Stephen asked, his voice steady. Paul pointed to the sign, his response direct. It's the club's policy, sir. No golf carts allowed on this part of the course. It's to protect the greens. I'm just following the rules, Paul said, his tone unwavering. Stephen looked at the sign, then at Trump, his expression shifting to one of apology. Mr. President, I'm so sorry about this. I had no idea this was happening. Let me take care of it, Stephen said, turning to Paul. Paul, I understand you're following the rules, but this is a special circumstance. Let's get a cart for the president. We'll make an exception this time, Stephen said, his tone firm. Paul hesitated for a moment, then nodded, stepping back. "Understood, sir." "I'll arrange for a cart right away," Paul said, his voice neutral. Trump looked at Stephen, nodding approvingly. "That's more like it, Stephen. I knew you'd handle this. You're a smart guy." "I like smart people," Trump said, his tone lighter now. Stephen smiled, gesturing toward the clubhouse. "I'll have the cart here in a minute, Mr. President." "I'm sorry for the inconvenience," Stephen said, his voice sincere. A few moments later, a golf cart arrived, driven by another staff member. Trump stepped toward it, turning to Paul one last time. "Next time, Paul, don't make me wait. I'm the president. I've got important things to do," Trump said, his tone a mix of reprimand and triumph. Paul didn't respond, watching as Trump boarded the cart. The Secret Service agents followed closely, and the cart drove off toward the exit, leaving Paul standing there, frustration evident in his posture as he watched the president leave. What a moment that was! A simple request turning into a battle of wills on a golf course. If this moment got you thinking about power, privilege, and respect, drop your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to Legendary Stories for more incredible moments that keep you on the edge of your seat.